You were looking at Summer Game Fest, and towards the end of the show at Xbox, you saw a very cool trailer. A little bit of sci-fi elements. It was a bit dark. It was moody. It was gritty. Looked amazing. And then you saw the Call of Duty logo popped up, and you were sorely disappointed. It happened to quite a lot of people last last Sunday, and I'm here to tell you that there's only really one person to blame for that. You're not gonna like the answer, but that's you. I'm not just here to cause blame. I'm here to tell you how you can look at these type of game shows and really know at the things you need to be looking forward to. Because let's be honest, you saw that trailer and you were excited. You were excited for the things you saw. You were excited for the things that you thought were being promised during the little bits of cinematic that you saw. And then you were disappointed because you knew what game it was. But the thing is, if that Call of Duty logo never popped up, you probably still would have assumed a very cool game coming up. You know, if it would have said mystery game to be announced soon, you would have been super hyped, and it would have been the exact same game. So why is it that when Call of Duty pops up, that suddenly the disappointment starts kicking in? There are two reasons. One, you might actually just don't like Call of Duty. Maybe fairly, maybe unfairly. What I want to say with that is, you saw Call of Duty, you know you don't like Call of Duty, and that's it. But how would you know that you'd like the game if it wasn't Call of Duty? The thing is, that trailer showed absolutely nothing. Everything you were experiencing in that, what, 1.5 minutes of CGI that you saw, it didn't promise anything. It didn't promise a genre, it didn't promise gameplay, it didn't promise story, it promised nothing. Every little bit of hype that you were creating in that 1.5 minutes, you created in your own mind. Now, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's up for debate, but ultimately, the trailer promised you nothing, and you only really get disappointed once you figured out what the game truly was. Now, this is why, in the future, whenever you see a CGI trailer, basically a trailer that does not contain any gameplay or in game elements, do not get excited for it. Just don't. The only person you're going to be disappointing is yourself, as you saw with this Call of Duty trailer. Now, I don't want anyone to be pessimistic. Like, we're here on YouTube. There are plenty of my much more successful colleagues who are pessimistic enough for all of us. So, yeah, just what I want to say is you can be very positive gaming influence, whether that's for others or for yourself. That's totally cool. I encourage it because after all, this is a hobby and you want to enjoy it. However, when you promise yourself things because of CGI trailers, you're just gonna disappoint yourself when the game does not deliver. And what we often see is that when a game doesn't deliver, the blame is being cast to the developers because they lied to us. But they didn't, because they never promised you anything. They just showed you off some fancy graphics and that's it. Which is why I want to say never be excited about a CGI trailer. Like we see the same thing with the GTA trailers. Like very little has been shown in game as of yet, and people are very excited for it. They're excited for it because it is GTA. But in all honesty, this GTA could have been like another top-down game, like the first two were and the London one on the PS1. It won't be, but they never said it wasn't gonna be, you know? Um, it still would have been an open world game, so they wouldn't even lie about that. You see what I'm getting at? CGI trailers don't promise you anything. And when you make an assumption that you're really gonna like a game because it showed some fancy graphics and a cool setting, that's nice. But ultimately, you want to be enticed by the gameplay. Which is why, personally, if I see a CGI trailer, same happened with Fable. I love fantasy settings. But the last time we saw something from Fable, which was 2 years ago, I think, they just showed a bit of a trailer with an actor. They didn't show anything in game. So who knows what the game is going to be like? No one knows. At this point, I doubt even the developers at Fable know, but you get the drift. As long as you don't see anything that actually has merit, like pieces of story, pieces of the game world, gameplay, you don't know if you're going to like a game. You simply don't. You can assume you would, but that's all it is. Just an assumption. So, what I hope people will take away from this trailer with Call of Duty is just be honest with yourself. And that sounds a lot more philosophical than it's supposed to be. But what I want to say is CGI trailers are cool. They look amazing, graphically very advanced and meant to really lure you in and get excited about a game. That's the point of all trailers. However, just be excited with caution, because in the end, you have no idea what the game is going to be until you have a look at the actual game. With that being said, I do want to say, yeah, the Call of Duty trailer looked, okay. Um, Knowing it's a Call of Duty, you're gonna know it's gonna be a shooter. It's yeah, probably gonna be one of the best-selling games of the year because it always is. As and don't take this wrong, if you are a very competitive Call of Duty player, Call of Duty is the shooter for the casuals. And with that, I mean every casual gamer who wants to play a shooter is gonna play Call of Duty, and that's been the case for a couple of decades at this point. So yeah, from that point of view, I kind of understand why Xbox decided to show it at the end of a showcase as kind of their big reveal, because financially it's probably going to be the most successful game that Xbox is going to publish, and it's the main reason they really, really, really wanted Activision. Um, yeah, I also want to say from a more hardcore gamer point of view, which I fall in, and you watching probably falls in. Yeah, it's not going to be the most exciting game, and I think Xbox probably kind of misunderstood the audience of showcases like these. Um, the most casual fan is not going to look at these showcases; they're just going to see an IGN mentioning new Call of Duty announced, and that's it. And that's all they really need to know. So yeah, I understand everyone's frustration with that being the final game because you want to see something cool, you want to see something more for the gritty hardcore fans of gaming, and Call of Duty isn't. I truly understand that disappointment. What this video is about, however, is that feeling that I saw a lot of people have during that CGI trail all the way up until that logo reveal. And it was at that logo reveal that things start falling apart. Um, and yeah, well, definitely, the showcase ending on a bummer is all the blame on Xbox because they really should have thought out what the audience was for things like a Summer Game Fest and a Summer Game Fest week. But the disappointment for it being Call of Duty itself during the trailer does really fall upon the individual. As for my reaction, I saw the trailer and I was thinking, okay, looks cool. Wonder what this is about. Ah, it's Call of Duty. Okay. That that was literally my reaction without the voicing it out because I was sitting on my own. That would be weird. Not like talking into a microphone is any saner, but whatever. With that being said, one takeaway from this video is never trust a CGI trailer.